Alright guys, Supreme Kabi here, and today going to be presenting to you guys my best 2022 shooting base build, and I actually have 3 of them. So I actually just doing regular arena, so I do have my PST build going on, but I'm only going to be specifically focused on the speed attribute because when I did the one for melee, I focused on the speed attribute because we are still going to be running on the Hashman multi mission, so that is where we are going to be testing out is like peak power anyway. But this is what we have. So if you guys do remember last year, I did something of this caliber. Talk about my best 2021 shooting base build. And as far as the one I have last year, I remember I clocked in at exactly 157,000, and that was only with 3 7-star parts on the main slot, not the sub slot. The sub slot was still on 6-star parts. And look at fast forward to 12 months later, exactly I want to say a year later on. Look at everything. Pretty much everything in my build, from the main part, sub slot, they're all 7-star, except for the shield because I'm still using the Cosmo shield from the Star Build Galaxy. I think it's Star Build Galaxy Cosmo. There you go. Yep, got the name right. And Pilot, they're still 6-star, no 7-star for them yet. But this is what we are working with. So we have a base parameter of 201,000 for the basic shot attack. So that's actually pretty good. Just like how I did for my melee version of it, I'm not gonna click on every single one of those parts. So on either right or left hand side, I should have labeled out what is on my main part and then what is on my main, what is my main and what is my sub, so you guys can just have a glance of to see what is going on. But generally speaking, what I like to do for my build, I have something that is a big scale to a non-big scale, so you guys can see just for a quick demonstration. So big scale, non-big scale, so you guys can see that we are getting a nice juicy 45% per round up because we are matching the scale difference, we are matching the vortex and etc, and then the portrait level. So that is how we are getting that many subslot. And funny enough, last year around that time when I was doing the video, I was actually still using a second V head. So you guys can see that as far as 7-star parts, they have not really aged out all that much in a sense. The only main difference I would have to say from last year to this year, we are just getting a little bit more higher as far as the the peak. So last year was still around 40%, but this year we are seeing something that are both 50% base. So that's pretty much the only differences. Other than that, I think everything else is still pretty much normal, and that is the only one that I want to show you guys. I guess another one that I want to show you guys are this. So what I did right here, I went for the big scale subslot to a non-big scale, but the only difference is with this one, as you guys can see, this one here is actually the same as the main slot or the main part, is except for the fact that this one is not alterated yet. Since they're not alterated yet, we can get pretty much the same part because they technically are the same part, but just one is big scale, one is not. So that's why we were able to cheese in a 50% parameter substar there. So those are just few stuff that I want to cover. Besides that, but as for the general stuff, like the know-how of like how do I get to where this build is, we have to take a look at the portrait 1 and then portrait 2. So they're pretty much going to be, so portrait is actually just like I guess one category, but within that one category you can break up into EX skill power boosted slash your shooting power boosted, so that's one. And then you also do have your buff EX skill effects, so that's 2. And then last but not least, we have your damage trait, so that's your third for the portrait. So things that gives me the damage trait or these, something like that. So they're pretty much going to be found within a few of these parts over here. So that's going to be like your, I guess, your requirement 1. And then requirement 2 is going to be your bonus trait. So bonus trait, I want to say it is going to be a little bit tricky just because these are RNG rolls. So it's either you get these power boosted one or you get the really bad one. What I mean by the bad one, I think I'm just gonna quickly show you guys because I'm pretty sure I have a lot of the, I want to consider them as really bad. Let me pick maybe this one, the Phoenix Beam Saber. What I consider a bad bonus trait are this: EX skill damage taken reduced by 400 flat. This right here is a flat digit. So imagine you're doing hundreds of thousands of damage and you're only mitigating 400. What is that? You know what I mean? So yeah, so that is like a really bad example, but generally speaking, you want to see bonus trait that looks like, oh, either EX skill power boosted. I think that is definitely the best one out there. right? But obviously there's, you know, higher power. We won't talk about that. But generally speaking, if you land on EXQ, that is probably the best one out there, because you can either use it on your melee build or shooting based build however you need it, so that's good. And your third option, or your third I guess, you know, with the requirement to be optimal build, or in my case my best build, is a link attribute or attribute links. Pretty much everything within this build right here, from the head part all the way down to the shoe part, are able to have that attribute links. So what I mean by that, if you click on a part and then you click on the attribute link, you guys can see that if you have a unit for either typing, like I have one for the tech attribute, I have one for the speed attribute, we are able to fulfill the activation requirement. So 8 points, 12 or 10 points, and then 8, 10, and 12. So we were able to secure a sub an additional 6%. So if we count from the head part all the way down to the shield part, we are getting an additional 48% all power boosted. So every little thing counts, obviously. So if we do combine everything, I think at the end of the day, the numbers should be quite staggering in a sense. And last but not least, I guess the last requirement is gears. Gears is going to be very crucial as for the build. We have ourselves probably the highest, you know, gear possible. The torso gear is the only one that has access to the faster variant. As for the I want to say the left arm, right arm, however to call it, the last four only are able to go up to the four-star variant at this, as the recording of this right now. So we have the 2500 for the shooting attack up. We have the chain shot gear, 40% up my shot defense, transition into my shot attack. We have the middle shooter drop sense gear. We have the commander gear, and then we have the speed attribute versus the P attribute. This one is only for melee, but the only thing that I really care about is this portion of it. 20% damage to P attribute, so that is only the, I guess, the most important one. But obviously if you do want to hit a little bit harder, you would get the other variant, which I have not crafted yet. But generally speaking, if you just have one variant, that is already good enough. Flat 2000 is obviously really good, but if you don't have it, that is definitely fine. But I think that's pretty much it. And I guess your fifth requirement to have a complete build is obviously your custom, the custom ability. So we have the good old basic. We have the 20% for the beam, 20% for the physical, and then another additional 30% to the buff EXQ effects. And that pretty much sums up my overall build. So do let me know, how is it so far, you know, as far as like, oh, just the basic skeleton, how is it compared to your build, and how is it compared to your build to mine? So yeah, but other than that, I think that pretty much sums up a bit. And especially for the skin that I have right now, the one I have equipped it on right now, this one I use specifically for arena. So I don't think there's anything too much of a secret at this point in time. We have two buffs here. So we have the Archer Stand Gamma, 1 buffs. And then we have the Strike Freedom leg part. Why are we using this one specifically? Because if you are able to use this one, you are saving approximately 1 second. So within that 1 second, I believe you are able to get a better assessment score. So that's why people are using this one to use another one of these strictly buffers. So if you want like the optimal setup, this is pretty much what you'll be doing. You know, you're double buffing, 1 buff of this, and then another buff that is going to be this one, but pretty much a counter buff. And then last but not least, we have the infamous Amazon Prime Cannon, or your A to Z Prime Cannon. So this is probably right now, if you're talking about just casually, you still want to be good in arena, this is the setup you want to be doing. But if you're like a if you have the best build possible, which mine is not according to like the top rankers, people use this. People just strictly use this EXQ, or I guess there's a few. But what I have been using myself personally, I use this one here. If I can find it. So the one I use personally is going to be this one, the Cross One Gundam, or not this one, excuse me, that's the other one. Let me see this one. I think it's this. Yep. We have the Cross One Gundam Mao. So this one is probably the one that you want to be using to get the highest battle assessment of a 1.269. So this right here, in a optimal way, should be able to secure you that. But from what people are kind of discussing around, this may not be the ultimate one people using. I don't have the answer to that, but if you guys do, like if you guys like a top arena player, let us know. Let us know in the comment section below, what other EXQ do you guys use besides the Skull Satellite Cannon to get that 1.269 battle assassin every single day. But other than that, it's not enough to talk about arena. Let's actually get into the meat. We want to see how well this build is compared to last year. I don't think I'm gonna be using the same skin as last year. I'll probably be using a one hitting damage worker EXQ, so we can see like a glimpse of like what is it in totality. But other than that, let me do craft a new skin. I'm not gonna be using the arena skin, and then we'll find an EXQ that only gives me one damage marker, and then that should be a conclusion. Alright, so we are in. So I'm using the narrative C-Packs as the base unit, I guess, in a way. So we do also have the army XQ for the filler in, just to take down the first wave of it. And then we are using the last shooting, because that one's going to be secure me a final hit, just that one hit marker right there. So that's really what I want to see. So let's see how much of an attack we are getting here. 43 million. I'll definitely take that. It's not that bad. I guess the only thing that can explain why maybe it is a little bit less, because this one is not naturally a back part EXQ, so that's why we are missing that extra teeny tiny bit attack. But compared to my melee version, I believe the bicep was able to output a 47 million, while this one is only 43. So map is quite strange. I just can't explain to you guys, because my build here is actually, I want to say, it's many more times stronger than my melee build, but somehow we still did less damage here. But other than that, that is going to conclude my 2022 best shooting based build. So hopefully, I don't know what we will be getting for next year, but I think next year around, if we are still doing another one of these video, I think the number will definitely be just higher, you know, as time goes, power creep and all that good stuff. But other than that, that's going to be pretty much it for me, and then I'll be catching you guys on the next one.